Hello everybody, Drake here again with another Minecraft tutorial, and today I bring you an automatic crop farm. Now there are a ton of these all over YouTube, however I wanted to build my own design and put my own little spin on things. So as you may have noticed by now, this one is different because it is 100% completely flush with the floor, meaning you can put it anywhere in your base that you would like. And aside from that, it is also very small, very compact, extremely resource light, and really efficient at what it does. And if that wasn't enough to convince you, well, how about instead of using a redstone clock, it uses a bud switch instead. I don't like redstone clocks personally because they lag out servers if you're on a multiplayer server, and also if you happen to miss planting your crop one time, you just wasted 3 bone meal to grow that plant. So since this uses a bud switch instead, you never waste any bone meal when you're growing your crops. So to demonstrate this to you, I got some seeds, carrots, and potatoes in my inventory, and I'll just show you how this thing works. So you plant your seed, it is automatically bone mealed and then harvested by the piston located down below. And here's some carrots. And of course, what is complete without potatoes? So the only downside to this system is that some crops and that may get stuck down here on the harvest block. As you can see, there is some wheat and potatoes there from my last excursion. That is the only downside. Now, of course, you can't just hop in there and pick them up, but you could also risk trampling over the soil, so you have to hoe it over again, and that's just monotonous. So instead of doing that, I would recommend taking out one block beside it. You could even keep a piston here to load it up, that way you can't see it on your floor, but I would recommend just keeping one open, that way you can hop down in and you get all the crops that you missed. Okay, so this is the entire design with all of the fluff blocks removed to give you a better idea about what you're building. As you can see, it is really compact. It is all one mass of redstone to keep things as small as you possibly could. Aside from that, it is also very resource light for doing what it does, especially when it has the functionality of being flush with the floor and using a bud switch to do all of the harvesting and growing. So that being said, these are the following materials that you are going to need to build this exact system that you see right here. You're going to need 22 building blocks of any kind. It can be any kind of block, it does not matter. You need 1 dirt block to use for your harvest block. You'll need 1 half slab of any kind, 4 pieces of redstone dust, 4 redstone torches, 5 redstone repeaters, 2 sticky pistons, 1 regular piston, 3 dispensers, and then 1 bucket of water that you can use to grow your crops. Aside from that, you're also going to need some bone meal to fill up the 3 dispensers, and of course a hoe of any kind just to plow the field in between. Alright, so let's just go ahead and get started building this thing. So before I begin, I would like to say I'm going to do this in 2 different ways per request of some subscribers of mine. They like my tutorial videos, but they said since they're playing on a survivor world, they would like some of the tutorials to be layered. So basically I would just say how to do layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, etc, etc. So the first tutorial version I'm going to do is the way that I would build it, and then the second one is going to be how you build it for layers for all those people who wanted that to be done. So before we begin, this design is 5 by 5 by 5, fairly easy enough to remember, so there shouldn't be any trouble there, but let's just go ahead and get started. So first, find out where you want to put your harvest block at, and place your dirt block anywhere you'd like. That will be your harvest block, basically. So if you put a seed there, that's going to be where it grows and then gets harvested later on. And then around this harvest block, you want to place your 3 dispensers. So I'm going to place blocks here just to make it a little bit easier. Then you want to place a dispenser in the back, a dispenser to the right, and then a dispenser right where you were facing before. And then on the left side, you're going to place a block coming up, and you're going to place your sticky piston there. I just need to get it positioned correctly. So just like that. Okay, so once you have that in place, we can go ahead and start installing the bud switch. Now, I would like to point out that this bud switch design was not mine. I did tweak it just a little bit for my design, however, I cannot take claim to it. I will put the creator of the bud switch down in the description below so you can check out the video and his channel, because he also does some stuff like I do. So let's go ahead and get started. Underneath the sticky piston, you can go ahead and place a solid block, and then you want to come 2 blocks underneath this block, so if it was extended, like right here, and then put a redstone torch. So if this block is extended, it is directly over this redstone torch. Okay, now if you come around the opposite side of that torch, so this piston is still to the left of where we're facing, if you come around the back side and turn around, you want to place 2 blocks coming across just like this, 1 block jutting up, 1 block down, 1 block jutting up, and then 1 block coming across, so it kind of wraps around this torch back to where we started. Okay, next you're going to go back to where you just placed those blocks at, and you want to place a piece of redstone dust right here in this block, and then place a repeater going into this first block that's jutting upward. Now place a piece of redstone dust in this groove in between, and then place another repeater coming off of this block on 1 tick delay. Alright, now in that piece of redstone dust that you placed in the center block here, you want to place 1 block coming up from it, a redstone torch on top, and then a block on top facing that piston, and you should get this circuit going just like this. Okay, next comes the final part of making the bud switch. So I'm just going to take away this block just to make it easier on myself, but we will replace that in just a second. So in front of this redstone repeater you have on 1 tick delay, you want to come around the opposite side and place a regular sticky piston facing just underneath that, and I just destroyed that redstone, but you want it to be facing just underneath this block that will activate whenever we put this block on, and this basically creates a bud switch that we use for the design. So now you can go ahead and replace that block on top of this redstone torch. You should see this fire, retract, and then this lower piston will also fire, and that will basically create a bud switch that we need. Just like that. So now you can go ahead and test out that bud switch. If you place a block anywhere around this sticky piston here, it should activate the switch. There's the bud switch, and if you take it away, it will also activate it. Exactly what we want. Alright, next you want to come around the back side of the design where you place this piece of redstone dust at, and you want to place one more block coming off of what would be the right side of the design if you were looking at it straight on. And then you want to place one block coming up. And now down here you want to place your half slab right in between this block here, and then place another block sticking up on the other side. Okay, now you want to go back to where we just placed those blocks at. You want to place a redstone repeater going into this solid block. You want to place another repeater going into this block. You want to place 2 redstone torches on top of either of those corner blocks, and then place a block on top of those redstone torches, and you should hear these dispensers tick up above. Just like that. Okay, next come underneath that repeater and that block that you just placed, and you want to place one block just underneath it with 2 pieces of redstone dust, and then a redstone repeater on full tick delay going into this original block that we placed with the redstone torch. And then next you want to place a sticky piston facing straight upward directly underneath this dirt block right beside this redstone torch. So if I can get position, you should just be able to click on top of this repeater and place it as it should be. Okay, now the last and final thing we need to do is place the water. So the way that water works in Minecraft, it just has to be on the either same level or 1 level above a dirt block and within 4 blocks around it to hydrate it. So physically you could put this above ground if you'd like to, but I like to have mine hidden underground because it makes it more flush with the floor and it's just less of an eyesore. So coming off either of the sides, I believe you can do, I have it on the right side here where you'd basically be facing at. You can just place out your glass blocks and just make a little chamber to seal in all of that water. So it should look just like this, and then you can just dump your water bucket inside this piece of glass, and then you can go ahead and now hoe your dirt. So let me grab a hoe real quick. And that is pretty much it. Alright, so the last and final thing that you have to do is just throw your bone meal inside these dispensers so that you can actually start growing your crops. As you can see, I got some wheat seeds, carrots, and potatoes down on my bar, so we can actually give this a test run. So if you plant any type of seed or crop into this farmland, it will be grown, the bud switch will automatically do that, and then it will also harvest it for you. So if you plant a wheat seed, there's your wheat, there's your carrots, and there's your potatoes. Alright, so now it is time that we build this design by layers. Now this is the first time I've ever done a tutorial like this, so please go easy on me if it is terrible. So as you can see, I've went ahead and laid out a 5x5 grid with lapis, just to kind of give us a good starting area. So on the right side of this here, you want to skip in 2 blocks, place a solid block, place a piece of redstone dust on it, right behind it, and then place a repeater facing to what would be the left of the lapis here on full tick delay, and then place a block in front of that redstone repeater. Alright, so now right on top of that block that you just placed, you want to place a redstone torch, and then right to the right of it, on top of this redstone repeater, you want to place a sticky piston facing directly upward. Now right behind these, you want to place a block right beside the sticky piston, and right beside this redstone torch, and then right to what would be the left of this redstone torch, you want to make a 2x3 little grid of blocks. So it should look just like this. And then around the other side, you want to come over here, place one more block coming off what will be the right of the sticky piston. You want to place one block jutting upward on top of that block. You want to place a half slab right next to that sticky piston. So it should look just like this if I can get it placed. And then you want to place one block on top of that half slab right on the other side just like this, jutting upward. Okay, for the next layer, you want to place a block on this back left corner. You want to place a block right diagonal to that next to this redstone torch 1 block above. And then you want to place another block here, so it should have this little checkered pattern going. Now right around the back side, right where this redstone torch is at, you want to place a piece of redstone dust next to it, with a repeater facing to what would be the left side of the design going into this block. You want to place a piece of redstone dust in this little groove, and then you want to place a redstone repeater coming off to what will be the right side of the design here, and you want to put it on 1 tick delay. Now back here where this redstone dust is at, you also want to place a redstone repeater going into this solid block, and then a redstone repeater going into this solid block on top of this half slab. Okay, next you want to place a redstone torch right next to this piece of redstone dust to the left on top of this block, then place them over here on top of these two blocks innervated by these redstone repeaters, and then place a dirt block on top of this sticky piston right here. Now next to this dirt block you want to go ahead and place in your water, so skip over one block and make like this little groove shape just like this, seal off all the ends, and then you can place your water inside of that. You also want to place a block right on top of this redstone torch that we placed originally, next to this repeater with 1 tick delay, so it should look just like that. Okay, next we need to finish off the bud switch, and I did not do this in the previous layers just because you really can't do it. It is such a pain to work with. You kind of have to do it in a certain order. So right in front of this redstone repeater with the 1 tick delay, you just want to come to the other side of it and face it straight inwards right above this redstone torch here. It should not be innervated because that'll come later on, but you need to go ahead and place it. Now, on top of this block right here, right to the side of it that we originally placed, I'll back up so you can get a better view, you want to place a sticky piston facing straight downward. It should be activated. I actually need to get out of here real quick. I'll replace that. And then you want to place a block right on that sticky piston, and it should go ahead and activate the bud switch. Very good. Okay, now we need to place in the 3 dispensers to finish off the top layer. So right around the dirt block here, you want to place regular blocks. That way you can place your dispensers easily. And you want to place them facing straight inward towards this dirt block. And then you can go ahead and remove those solid blocks because they are not needed. And then on top of these 2 torches here on the sides, you want to place your regular blocks, and they should activate the dispensers whenever you place them. Alright, the final thing that you have to do is just fill up your dispensers with your bone meal. So I got 3 stacks here. I'll just go ahead and throw them inside. And then you need to hoe your ground here in the center, which is your harvest block. And that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and actually start growing crops now. So I got some wheat seeds just to demonstrate again. Got some carrots. And of course, potatoes. Alright guys, that is pretty much it for this entire tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to drop me a like down below. It helps the channel out tremendously. If you really liked it, press that subscribe button. I do this stuff all the time, so you can come check out my tutorials, my other Let's Plays on my channel, my Redstone for Hire series, all of those things. Tell your friends about it, share it, send me comments. I love reading comments. Send me personal messages, what you thought of the video. So thank you guys so much for dropping in and checking it out. I hope it helps you out a ton. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.